I thought at our age life would slow down.
Not with everything we need to coordinate.
My overtime, his basketball league,
My podiatrist and her PT.
his colonoscopy.
Her allergist.
We need to be in 2 places at once, which is no problem, because the Iowa Clinic has over 40 specialties all in one place. So when our doctors want to coordinate our care, they just talk to each other.
Our doctors work together to figure out the best care for us, so we can go back to our busy lives, juggling our doctors, our careers.
Our grandchild.
Care how you want it. Visit iowaclinic.com.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to pregame here. Of course, we're presented as always by the Iowa Clinic and the Iowa Clinic Men's Center. My name is Chris Williams here at Hilton Coliseum. It feels so weird that Iowa State and Kansas State is number 12 versus number 5. Just never would have thought that that would be the case when the season began. Been watching warm-ups for a while. Looking forward to this one, as I was talking to some friends before the game, and I don't know if I had seen, so much of a crowd in a line for a non-Kansas, non-Iowa game compared to what I saw tonight, which is really encouraging. It means people are really getting behind this team. I thought maybe the Michigan game last year, or against Fred, with Fred's team. I also thought that potentially, last week's game with Texas was certainly a big one as far as that goes. But yeah, the crowd is just awesome here tonight. We'll get to that. I'm going to bring Jared Stansbury on. Hopefully we can hear Jared okay, as it is getting loud in here. And Jared, I just got out here. You saw Caleb Grill, right?
Yeah, before the game, or before one. Man, I love having out on here right away. The soupaphones come in, doing their thing right behind you. Get out of here.
Yeah. The second I go on here, the band starts playing. I'm a huge band guy, though. There's 2 things I love at an Iowa State athletic event. I love the band, and I love the crank horn. Those are my things. So we'll see. I thought you're a little bit echoey, Jared, so I'm going to mute you while I'm talking. But the line from the students, like that was impressive. I talked to a couple people that they were lined up at like 4 o'clock this afternoon for an 8 o'clock tip. So, I mean, all things considered, this should be an insane crowd tonight against a Kansas State team that was picked dead last in the Big 12.
Yeah, man, I think that's definitely true, and I think, I think this is going to be a really good game, because I think these 2 teams match up really well. You think of what Kansas State does so at such a high level with obviously Noel and Keontae Johnson, and they remind me a lot of Iowa State's team from last year. A little bit higher, obviously a little bit better than I think they started. Obviously, they started much better in the Big 12 play, but I think when you rely so heavily on those 2 guys, I mean, those 2 combined to take like 50% of this team's shots, and so it's what can you do to be able to slow down those 2 guys? Can you make them uncomfortable? You're not going to be able to completely stop them, but can you limit them and keep them from getting really hot and having big nights, and then you got to try and keep yourself from getting beat by somebody else. But I think this is a game that's Iowa State's going to have a really good chance to be able to win. Like you mentioned, they're going to have a great environment. I imagine the Cyclones will have a really good game plan for one of the toughest teams in the league to guard.
The thing I like about the matchup, just from an Iowa State standpoint, if I had to pick out one thing, Kansas State turns the ball over at a high rate. Now that has gotten better as Big 12 play has gone on, and I feel like some of that has to do with the amount of newcomers that they have getting, meshing everything together. But I like Iowa State's pressure defense against this Kansas State team. I think it gives the Cyclones a shot really to get a lot of points off of turnovers tonight.
Yeah, and I think when you just look at the way that Kansas State wants to try and get out and run, like they're going to play at the fastest tempo of anybody that you're going to see in the Big 12 this year. And that, just the nature of that, I think is going to be opening the door for some turnovers. Iowa State's obviously going to have to be able to do as much as they can to not turn the ball over and not give Kansas State easy opportunities to be able to create a transition for themselves. So the Cyclones are going to have to take good care of the ball. They're going to have to run good offense, set good screens, make good cuts, all that kind of stuff, just to keep Kansas State from being able to dictate the pace of the game. I imagine we'll see Iowa State come out pretty physical right from the very beginning, and I'd like to see them jump out and build an early lead. But it turns out when they jump out and build early leads, they blow those, and then when they get behind is when they come back and win. So I guess it's true.
All right. Well, I can't hear a thing you're saying anymore, so I will let you go. We'll get Jared's situation coming up at the end of the game. He'll write a column. I'll have the post-game podcast, all that good stuff. Yeah, the band situation's not ideal. We're gonna have to start doing pregame from another location for these Hilton Coliseum matchups. 30 minutes from tip. Follow us, and I will make sure you guys are covered after the game. Appreciate Iowa Clinic and the Iowa Clinic Men's Center. We'll talk to you.